What is the best druid? It's probably the moon druid, but I think that's cheating. There is another druid that is getting real close, at least in my opinion, to the best druid subclass in the game that I just wanted to talk about and really bring to light. Literally. It's the wildfire druid. I recently ran a campaign, and I had a wildfire druid in it. One of my players was a wildfire druid. He was a dragonborn, and his whole shtick was he wanted to set everything on fire, and it worked. It worked real well. It was really fun. He ended up being kind of the main support as well. A druid as a main support is a little tough to pull off. It's not impossible. It's a little tough though. The wildfire druid it comes from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, this book here, and I just gotta say, early game, it shines like way more than you would expect it to. He rarely even wild shaped while using it because it's just pointless. It's just pointless. First of all, the spells they give you, the spells they put on your prepared list of spells is nuts. It's crazy. At second level, Burning Hands, Cure Wounds. Burning Hands, pretty solid damage, right? Pretty great damage. Cure Wounds. That's perfect on a pre-prepared spell list because no druid player wants to go, I gotta have Cure Wounds prepared every day. That's gonna take away one of my prepared slots every day. They don't want to do that. Even clerics don't want to do that. Let's be real. No one's looking to be the healer, and if you are, then you're having fun. But that's awesome, because then you don't have to worry about it if someone's low on health, and you're like, alright, well, now I just have to waste my turn, but I didn't have to waste my prepared spell slot. Third level, you get Flaming Spear and Scorching Ray, which are also fun spells for damage. Scorching Ray is pretty great. Pretty solid damage, I'd say. Flaming Spear is a sphere. Flaming Sphere is a fun one. I would argue it's a little weird on the Wildfire Druid, simply because the Wildfire Druid already gets the little Wildfire Spirit that it can control, which I probably should have started with, but we'll get to that. So a lot of your bonus actions are already being used up pretty consistently, but it's a nice, fun little sphere spell. At 5th level, you get plant growth, and ready for this? It's so important. Revivify. You get Revivify pre-prepared. That's just amazing. That's genuinely amazing. You have to understand. Not only do most druid players, most spellcasters that aren't clerics that are going for healing, not only do they not want to prepare healing spells, they don't want to pair revive spells. Especially if your party feels immune. Like if you're just rolling through every dungeon you're given, you don't want to waste a prepared slot on a revivify spell. So to have that just pre-prepared is insane. It's insane. It's crazy. 7th level, you get Aura of Life and Fire Shield. They're probably good spells. We didn't get that far, so I never got to see them in play. Aura of Life seems fun. It's a nice, solid support, and Fire Shield is Fire Shield's neat. It's neat. It's niche. It fits the theme, so I can't really complain about that. And Flame Strike and then Mass Cure Wounds. Also great spells. That's at 9th level. 9th level. Level 9 Druid. You get those two spells. Wonderful. That's so good. Maybe it's not as good as others, but to me, it's pretty amazing. So, the Wildfire Druid, originally, I thought, I was like, alright, well, it's probably just going to be, like, moderate damage. I was like, it's okay. The Wildfire Druid puts out insane damage, puts out insane healing, and has one of the strongest low-level tech in the game that I didn't even think about until it started just destroying every encounter in a good way. So the Wildfire Spirit, you can create a Wildfire Spirit that replaces your Wild Shape. It doesn't replace it, you can still Wild Shape, but compared to the advantages of having more action economy or being a dog, there's really, like, action economy, dog. You know what I'm saying? So Wildfire Spirit, it's got 13 AC, which is, like, it's fine. Low levels, it's perfectly fine. High levels, it's a little bit like, eh. But then its health is 5 plus 5 times your Druid level. So by 8th level, which is as far as they got, it had 45 health, which is like half a player. That's great. You can move it. Its movement speed and its fly of 30 feet. It's got damage immunity to fire, which is obvious. It's fun. It's fun as crap. It's super fun. It's got 2 actions, though, that are important. Flame Seed, which is a ranged weapon attack of 60 feet. That is a 1d6 plus the proficiency bonus and the Flame's proficiency bonus matches your own. That one's all well and good. It's great extra damage. You have to use your bonus action to make the Wildfire Spirit use an action, so therefore you just get an extra 1d6 plus your proficiency bonus of fire every turn for damage. That's fantastic, you know, unless you got something better with your bonus action, which you probably do. To be fair, you probably do. Fiery Teleportation is its second bonus action. So a lot of low level boss monsters like shambling mounds and all that junk, a lot of them, their main shtick, their main thing is grapples. A lot of grapples. Fiery Teleport, it just lets your ally gets grappled. No, it isn't anymore, and the enemy takes fire damage, because that's what happens. The spirit teleports, bringing other creatures with it, the willing creatures, of course, and any creature left behind has to take 1d6 plus proficiency bonus fire damage, of course, on a dex save, with your spell save DC, by the way. Not even one of those niche bad DCs that abilities give you sometimes. It's your spell save DC. So if you're like low level, the Wildfire Druid, it's crazy. It basically adds more action economy by putting in another thing on the map, another thing for the enemy creature to worry about. A lot of the times, is the party of goblins going to worry about the little elemental flame, or are they going to worry about the paladin that's up in their grill chopping their buddies' heads off? They're probably going to worry about the paladin a little bit more. So they're not going to target the Wildfire as much as you might think, which lets it stay alive more often, which lets the Wildfire Druid do a lot of silly things. At level 6, though, is where it gets intense, very strong. At level 6, you get an enhanced bond, right? The bond with your Wildfire Spirit enhances your destructive and restoration spells. Whenever you cast a spell that deals fire damage or restores hit points while your Wildfire Spirit is summoned, roll a d8, and you gain a bonus equal to the number rolled to 1 damage or healing roll of the spell. And that's only half of it. The second half is that you can also cast ranged spells, any range that isn't self, through your Wildfire Spirit. So if you're like 60 feet away from your spirit, you can still cast a spell through it. You can cast Burning Hands through it, and your fire damage spells do more damage by 1d8 more damage, and your healing spells do a d8 more damage. Healing Word effectively doubles, if not triples, on average how much healing you're giving your allies through just Healing Word alone, a level 1 Healing Word. That is so strong. That is so powerful as a support, but also at the same time you're dishing out so much damage, it's ridiculous. You get to Healing Word, a d4 plus a d8 just as a level 1, and pick up one of your allies a bit more, while at the same time you could just Firebolt and add an extra d8 to it because it's a fire spell. At least I don't. Yeah, it doesn't specify leveled spell, which means cantrips work. it is strong. It is a strong subclass, and it's fun. It's fun to watch someone go from never playing D&D before to picking one of the subclasses and just crafting around it to the point where it becomes one of the most powerful subclasses I've ever watched in action. One of the most powerful thematic subclasses, I should specify. It's got a glaring weakness: fire resistance and immunities. But my player was smart enough to take Elemental Adept. Came in clutch. It ignores resistance. So, let me specify it. You choose a damage type between acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder. And from then on out, your damage that does that damage ignores any resistances to the damage. Which means fire, one of the most resistant spell type in the game, one of the most resisted. One of the most resisted spell types in the game becomes so much stronger than before. Obviously, immunities are still a problem, but there'll always be a problem. Not only that, though, any 1 you roll on a damage die for your fire damage spells become a 2. So you immediately just increase your damage just by enough, just by a little bit, not by too much, but just enough. He picked it, and it was sort of a sleeper pick. I didn't really think about it until their final battle, where it actually came in handy. They still lost, but that's a different story. But there was fire resistance involved, and it didn't matter. It was so fun. Now, I don't have much to say on the high level abilities because I never really saw them in play, but I'll read them off, talk about their potential maybe a little bit, but I can't really say anything about them much. 10th level is actually kind of nuts when a creature dies near you, ally or foe, but foe is what matters the most here. A little spirit kind of takes their spot, like a little flame. And if a creature walks into it, you can make it explode, and it can either do fire damage or it can heal if it's a friendly creature. They have to be within 30 feet of you when they die to become that spirit, but or your wildfire spirit, I should specify. So you can have your wildfire spirit 60 feet away from you, someone dies 90 feet away from you, but they're near the wildfire spirit, it still works. It sounds fun, sounds strong. It's 2d10 plus your wisdom modifier is the damage roll or the healing roll. That seems pretty powerful, especially in dungeon crawls. That's actually a really good point. I wish they had gotten that far, because dungeon crawls would become really, really fun. You find a bunch of little guys and you just hack and slash through them, and you're just healing up the barbarian or the paladin or the fighter. Every time the fighter gets a kill, next turn you can just poof, a nice 2d10 plus, at that point 2d10 plus 5 healing right off the bat. That's crazy. That's awesome. 14th level. If your wildfire spirit is up and you die, you can make it die and you get back half your hit points. It's kind of insane. I think the wildfire druid might be my favorite druid subclass in the game. It just has so much potential, and fire is such a fun theme that oddly enough isn't used as much as you'd think it'd be. It's used a lot because it's very classic, but it's not used as much as you'd think it'd be. Like, it took forever for a fire-based druid to exist. I have a single problem, a single gripe with them, actually, and it's that the spell list, although amazing, very amazing, does not give Fireball. It's Fireball. I mean, come on. You gotta give the Wildfire Druid Fireball. That's the point of fire, is ball. You want fire and ball, and you want to throw that ball, and you want to blow everything up. So what I did, I actually gave them a Staff of Fireball. It cost a good chunk of coin from an enchanter from a town, but he ended up getting a Staff of Fireball. Let him use it. I believe he paid for 3 uses a day, regaining all uses on a long rest. and I think my pricing for it was somewhere in the 2,000 range gold coin. They had a huge discount. It was someone they've helped out before. Doesn't matter. But there are pre-written, pre-made magic items that do fireballs. There's like necklace of fireballs or something, wand of fireballs. So I would just recommend, once it's appropriate, like once they're getting, I would say once they have 4th level spells unlocked, then give it to them, so then it still feels like, okay, you're not getting it on par with a wizard, so it's not like a huge buff that they maybe don't need, but it's a fun little flavor bit that they will love so much if you do. Yeah, wildfire druids are nuts. What's your guys' opinion? Have you guys used the wildfire druid at all? Have you played with one? Have you ran a game with one in them? What's your opinion? I want to hear it. I didn't think too much of it when it first came out, but I knew I wanted to play it. But these days I don't get to play too much. I run the games. So when my friend said he wanted to play it, I was very excited because being able to see it in action was just really, really fun, and I knew it would be fun. So, yeah, in the comments down below, let me know what you think about the wildfire druid. I know I didn't do any comparisons. I hope I didn't bait anybody with the title or thumbnail with what's the best druid subclass, because it's probably moon druid still. I mean, this moon druid, but I'm not here to do comparisons. I just really wanted to talk about the wildfire druid. Thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe if you're interested in more. I plan to do a little more D&D story stuff, and thank you.